The following presentation is funded in part by Centerstone. Hello, and welcome to this communication educational session on the impact of COVID-19 on brain health, presented by the Brain Health Initiative on behalf of Centerstone. I'm Dr. Shelley Carson, a scientific director of research at the Brain Health Initiative, and also a psychologist, researcher, and lecturer at Harvard University's Department of Psychology and Continuing Education School. This educational session will be presented in 3 segments, addressing neurological symptoms and complications of COVID-19, mental illness symptoms and their prevalence during the COVID pandemic, and finally, steps we as mental health professionals can take to improve overall brain health and wellness in our own lives, the lives of clients and patients, and others in our community. Thank you for your interest in this topic. In this segment, we'll discuss ways that brain health can be maintained and improved during COVID-19. Mental health professionals have the opportunity to not only aid in the recovery of the wave of mental illness that's mounting during the pandemic, but to help fortify our defenses against additional mental illness by promoting the protective factors of brain health. We'll combine evidence-based brain health improvement strategies with recommendations for dealing with COVID-specific issues. We'll begin by discussing self-care, which is a key component for both you and your clients as you face the challenges of the pandemic. Keeping stress in check has been shown to improve immune functioning and is also important for emotional regulation. Finally, the Brain Health Initiative has identified pillars of brain health that have been shown to be protective against mental illness and other forms of brain disease. By enhancing these pillars and helping clients to do the same, mental health professionals can improve resilience against COVID and the arrows of the pandemic. In a previous segment, we saw that the results of a review of 19 studies across 3 continents by Zhang et al. Found that 34 to 38% of the general population may suffer from significant psychological distress due to COVID-19. That could translate to literally billions of people in need of mental health services. Your skills are needed above all right now, but to be effective, you must first care for your own mental and physical well-being. To meet the demands before you, it's imperative that you keep yourself in good working order. You will have heard this before, but the science is clear. A professional cannot help others if they are out of commission due to overwork, overstress, or fatigue. Self-care is not selfish. It's life-giving. Here are 4 areas where you can either make daily improvements or, if you're already living a healthy lifestyle, you can make sure you continue to nourish yourself for the important work ahead. Let's look more closely at these areas. First, nutrition. The diets recommended currently for optimal brain health are the Mediterranean-style diets. To improve your nutrition, try making one of the following changes each week and continue to add a change a week. You can encourage clients and family members to do the same. Number 1, substitute olive oil for butter when you cook or for using on bread. Number 2, add berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, or strawberries to your diet several times a week. Number 3, add leafy green vegetables such as spinach, kale, or romaine 3 times a week. Number 4, eat fish at least once a week, unless, of course, you're vegan. Number 5, drink 2 extra glasses of water each day. Number 6, cut down on fast foods. Number 7, omit at least 2 sweets or baked goods, cookies, cake, candy, or soft drinks, from your diet each week. There, these changes aren't difficult, but they make a tremendous difference over time. Perhaps the biggest favor you can do for your brain is to move and move often. Oxygenating the brain allows it to perform its functions properly, and exercise is an evidence-based treatment for depression. Guidelines suggest 150 minutes of moderate exercise each week for optimum brain health benefit, but any amount of movement is better than no movement. Many people find using a step tracker or having an accountability buddy helps them stay on track. But finding a type of exercise you enjoy is just as important. You can start out slow and gradually add time to your daily exercise. You'll feel better, sleep better, and work better. Speaking of sleep, the COVID pandemic has caused insomnia and other problems worldwide. An Italian survey found that 57% of respondents reported poorer sleep quality since the pandemic began. For many people, reducing stress and anxiety will help with sleep problems. For overworked mental health professionals, making adequate sleep a priority is a key. Your brain cannot flush toxins, consolidate learning, or maintain attention and executive functioning without sleep. Other tips from experts include getting adequate exercise during the day, turning off electronic devices 1 hour before bedtime to reduce blue light, avoiding alcohol in the hours before bedtime, and practicing mindful meditation to calm the mind. Shoot for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Finally, taking breaks throughout the busy day to refresh and recharge yourself is beneficial to your overall performance and well-being. My colleague at the Brain Health Initiative, Dr. Heidi Hanna, recommends what she calls a 5-minute brain recharge several times during the day. This simple practice will renew you and literally reset the trajectory of your day in a positive direction. Without completing the entire 5-minute practice, I'll describe it here. First, just breathe. Become quiet and focus your breath. Notice how it feels as your breath moves into your body and is slowly exhaled. Just focus on your breath. And now, take a moment and think of something or someone in your life that you're grateful for. Experience gratitude for that person or thing. Hold on to that gratitude while you continue to also focus on your breath, breathing, and gratefulness. Now, finally remember yourself at a time when you were at your best as you set your intentions for how you want to be for the next few hours. What kind of energy do you want to radiate? Consider a word that describes how you'd like to go forward and attune yourself to that intention. Perhaps your word is focused, or compassionate, or strong, or joyful. Align yourself with that intention now as you take another breath. When you're ready, we can continue, or you can pause this video if you'd like more time to recharge. For a complete demonstration of the recharge practice, please look for Dr. Heidi Hanna on the web. Self-care changes allow mental health professionals to role model for their clients and community. Mental health professionals are community thought leaders. When they incorporate changes into their daily life and model them for others, they can begin a chain reaction that has enormous positive benefits on stress reduction, mental health, and resilience. Another important aspect of self-care is maintaining an appropriate level of stress. Stress is not all bad. However, too much stress reduces immune system functioning and can open the door for health issues and also make a person more susceptible to disease. We become overstressed when our stress load exceeds our perceived ability to handle stress. Of course, much of therapy is helping clients and patients become capable of tolerating more stress. In other words, increasing their perceived ability to handle stress. However, in the difficult times of COVID, it seems we all just want to reduce our stress load to tolerable levels. The first step in managing stress is to understand when you're experiencing too much of it. For many people, stress begins to build without their awareness until all of a sudden they're overwhelmed and out of control. Most people experience specific physical, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral signs that they're overstressed. Examples of physical signs are headaches, stomach aches, sweating, loss of sex drive, or skin breakouts. Examples of emotional signs are irritability or perhaps emotional numbness, impatience, anxiety, or feeling trapped. Examples of cognitive signs could include trouble concentrating, poor judgment, or feeling overwhelmed. And examples of behavioral signs are eating compulsively, pulling at hair, skin picking, pacing, or picking fights. These are just some of the signs. Learning to recognize your individual signs of stress and where you are on the stress thermometer on the right side of this screen will allow you to manage the stress response before it hijacks you. Once you realize you're overstressed, take a revive break at the earliest possible time. This is a short period, a minimum of a half hour, that allows you to calm down and de-stress so you can think clearly about how to reduce your stress load. During the revive break, you shouldn't think about your stressors. You should just allow yourself some tranquility. Here are some recommendations for the revive break. Meditation, yoga, listening to or playing music, calling a friend, writing in a journal or diary, engaging in a hobby, taking a long hot bath or shower, and walking in places of natural beauty are just some of the ideas that will give you time to de-stress. Once you've revived, you can now think about how to rationally reduce your stress load. First, define, preferably in writing, the causes of your current stress. In other words, your stressors. Put a check mark next to those stressors that you have some ability to work with, change, or eliminate. In other words, those that you have some control over. Things like paying bills, bad relationships, overdue projects or assignments, unemployment, weight-related issues. These are some examples. Pick a cause that you have some control over and make a plan to eliminate or neutralize that stressor. A plan that you can begin to implement as quickly as possible. The very act of making a plan to reduce a stressor actually reduces stress and anxiety. This is very beneficial for clients who are suffering from anxiety during the pandemic because it gives them a sense of agency in a situation that often engenders feelings of helplessness. Taking the first steps toward eliminating or neutralizing a stressor is also empowering, even though the stressor may still be in the person's life. Simply beginning the process is anxiety reducing and stress relieving. Additional recommendations for reducing stress based on published reports and surveys include reducing exposure to COVID-related news sources. While it's important to have up-to-date and reliable information, spending too much time on social media and cable news sites has been shown to be a risk factor for anxiety and depression. Checking in with government websites such as the CDC or NIH once weekly is a healthier option. Follow guidelines for COVID safety. This serves two purposes for clients. First, it reduces the risk of encountering the COVID virus. Second, it is a proactive response rather than a reactive or passive one. Again, the goal is to improve and inspire agency rather than victimhood in the face of the pandemic. Maintain a routine. In times of uncertainty, a steady daily and/or weekly routine is very reassuring that there's still some stability to life. Although vaccines have arrived, we know that we are not yet out of the woods with this pandemic. It's important to maintain stability for the foreseeable future, and routines are an important aspect of daily life, especially for anxious or stress-prone clients, as well as mental health professionals who must keep their days organized. Stay connected with others. Despite the arrival of vaccines, we will still need to observe social distancing for some time to come. Yet social distancing does not mean social isolation. Social connection and social support are one of the most potent factors against virtually all forms of mental illness, according to a comprehensive 2018 review by Wang et al. Staying connected during COVID may take a little more work. Here are some tips based on reviews. First, busy individuals may need to schedule time to spend with friends and family into their calendars, just as they would a doctor's appointment or any other work or health-related activity. Several web conferencing platforms are available for free. At least the trials are free, so it's easy to set up meeting with friends and distant family members over platforms like Zoom. Join a web-based club, such as a book club or a foreign language club. It's a fun way to meet new people and interact. Or take a web-based course. If you select a seminar-type course, you're likely to meet some very interesting people. I personally teach several such courses throughout the year through the Harvard Extension School, and I can tell you that the classes grow quite close-knit, and friendships, even international friendships, are formed. Plan outdoor get-togethers, such as socially distanced driveway coffee gatherings with neighbors in the morning, or evening with neighbors where everyone brings their own lawn chair and beverage. If you want to meet new people, volunteer in your local community. Many community organizations are in need of volunteers right now, and many offer training of new skills. The last strategy for stress reduction is self-evident, but not easy. Don't take on more stress. In the current environment, especially in the mental health field, professionals may have a difficult time saying no when help is urgently needed and they have the skill set to provide help. Keeping your eyes on the goal of maintaining a workable stress level is key. Find a gentle but firm wording that you can use over and over again to decline requests for your time, and use it. In the end, you will serve more people by having your brain, as I mentioned before, in good working order. At the Brain Health Initiative, we've identified a set of lifestyle behaviors that for better or worse influence the health of the brain. These are protective factors, which we call pillars of brain health. We've already discussed a number of these. We just talked about how important it is to manage stress. Stress resilience is at the top of the list for brain health protective factors. We've also talked about nutrition, physical activity, sleep, and social connection. All of the pillars are important. However, I'll talk about one additional pillar that's crucial during this COVID crisis, and that's emotional well-being. The research on emotional well-being is very robust. In a number of large longitudinal studies, positive feelings and emotional well-being have predicted longer life, reduced cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and stroke, and reduced overall mortality. They are, of course, also associated with lower depression and anxiety rates. My colleagues and I review the health properties of emotional well-being in a chapter for the 3rd edition of Lifestyle Medicine. Now, of course, it's easy to say that we would like emotional well-being, but in the era of COVID, with so many stressors and societal upheavals, how do we achieve this? Here are some suggestions from research. First, spend more time doing things you love and less time doing things you dread. How can you do this? Well, it's your life. You and you alone are the owner of your time. Really think about this. What are you doing that you truly dislike? Perhaps the COVID crisis is a perfect time to consider whether there's another direction you want to go. Can you replace 1 or 2 hours a week with something you really love doing? And then the next week, another 2 hours? Schedule it into your calendar. Laugh, and laugh often. Research shows that even forced laughter can improve your mood. Make a compilation of happy memories, either in a journal or in a computer file that you can flesh out and add details to as you remember them. Then read your compilation on a regular basis. Make a gratitude list. In the gratitude list practice, individuals write down between 3 and 5 things in their lives, large or small, that they're grateful for several nights a week. In studies where this practice has been done nightly, it's been shown to increase emotional well-being extensively enough to be noticed by others, and as an added bonus, to improve sleep quality. Finally, the 3 good things exercise. In this practice, consider 3 good things that have happened to you throughout the day and the cause of these things. Do this daily for a week. This practice has been shown to have long-term effects on emotional well-being. Here are a few questions my colleagues and I have suggested that therapists can ask clients or patients to encourage them to explore and share their positive health attitudes and well-being. First, what aspects of your life are going well? What aspects of your life do you feel good about? Second, when you've had difficulties before, what have you done that's made you feel better? And third, what personal qualities or strengths do you bring with you that you can rely on? The point isn't to be happy and joyful all the time, but rather to insert moments, perhaps leading occasionally to hours, of well-being into your life so that the scales of positive to negative moments gradually begin to tip more toward the positive. This increases healthful outcomes for both brain and body, and it's possible for everyone to achieve, even if they're currently experiencing depression, anxiety, or stress-related disorders. The pillars of brain health are each important in their own right, However, they don't stand in isolation. Like pillars of a building, they work together to support brain health. Each supports the others in this mission. For example, social connection helps build stress resilience. Emotional well-being provides motivation for better eating habits or nutrition and exercise or physical activity, and vice versa. By initiating improvement in one pillar, you can begin an upward spiral that benefits positive change in many other pillars as well. Let's do a quick review of this segment. First, taking time for self-care isn't selfish. Mental health professionals have a major role in the successful outcome of the COVID-19 pandemic. Bolstering self-care is crucial. Second, practicing and sharing stress management techniques can diminish mental health issues for clients and improve well-being for mental health professionals. Finally, increasing other protective factors of brain health, including social connection and emotional well-being, will build resilience. The goal of enhancing brain health during the COVID era is not to avoid dealing with the major issues that the COVID pandemic has unleashed on the planet. The goal is to build our inner strengths and garner our inner resources so that we can endure the struggles we need to face. Mental health is not only about removing symptoms, but about bolstering the mind-brain to meet the challenges that individuals, communities, and societies must face collectively and alone. The coronavirus has presented a challenge that threatens to extinguish not only bodies, but personal will. Mental health professionals are at the forefront of the battle against this threat. In addition to alleviating symptoms, bolstering self-care, practicing stress reduction, and enhancing brain health protective factors are tools with which to take on this challenge. A complete list of references cited in this segment accompanies this presentation. For more information on COVID-19 and mental health professionals, please see additional videos in this communication educational session. Thank you. I'm Dr. Shelley Carson.